Welcome back. I'm Kevin Dubois with My Shop Assist. This video is going to be helpful for restoration shops and shops who deal with very large projects spanning months or even years. It's kind of rare in shop management for automotive that you're able to handle these kind of projects, and I think our software is pretty unique in that we can do quite a few features that handle these huge projects. So this video I'm going to go over 2 key points. The first one is going to be how to organize the jobs. And how to set it up to make it easy to know where you are, what you have done, what you haven't done. And then the second part is on the billing side, utilizing progress billing, which is typically how restoration shops are going to bill their customers. And it's unique to the automotive industry because most general repair shops just bill you when you're done. And so we also have a inventory history view page that will kind of show you that progress of how you've been billing the customer. Let's go ahead and get started. So first I want to show you a rather large project at my shop, and so I've changed the name of this customer so we can see that what we're doing to the car, but not the customer's name. But so this is a large project that I've been working on. It's been spanning for about 1.5 years. There's a lot of stuff on here. It's basically a shell that we've taken, and we're basically building it all the way back up. He's had the shell painted, new brakes, engine, transmission, differential axles, window trim, door moldings, basically everything you can do to an Evo. And so this is an Evo and probably the most extensive rebuild we've ever done. So the first 2 things we want to look at here is this is like the main page for the job. In MSA, we have the ability to create folders. So for larger projects where you have a lot of tasks, this basically list here just gets very long and it becomes cumbersome and hard to look for what you need. We do have a search function here, so you can search for a particular thing. So if we look for starter, it will show you just a starter on here. But ultimately, we want to be able to break these down. And so we utilize these folders. This is a shop setting, so if you can't see the little plus button here, there is a shop setting that you change to enable the folders within jobs. And then you can create as many folders as you want. So this particular job, I've moved all the engine and drivetrain stuff into this folder, all the chassis related stuff into this folder, and electrical and tuning into this one. So if I go into the electrical tuning, you can see I moved all like the gauge installs, the tuning, the flex fuel kit, all that sort of stuff is in this group here. When I go to the chassis install, I've got like the brakes, fuel pumps, we've got window moldings, the exhaust, intercooler, the AC, the roll center kit, which is the suspension parts. So that's how I've broken it down in here. And really all you got to do to move stuff around is you just take the 3 dots and just drag them into the folder you want. And that will move it into the other folder for you. So I've moved the fuel pump in here. We can move it back just by dragging it and moving it right back. Where did it go? Oh, right at the top here. Boom, just like that. You can move parts as well. So if you have any parts you want to drag over, you can just drag them and move them into the other folders. Some things to note here, if you are logged in as a user, if you have tasks assigned to you in that folder, it'll show up as, the name will show up as kind of gold or yellow. So in this case, I'm logged in. I have tasks in both the chassis folder and the electrical tuning folder. When all the tasks are completed in a folder, the folder name will be grayed out, just like we do with all these tasks down here. It will grayed out. If you don't have any tasks assigned to it, the name of the folder is just white like that. Okay, so that's the simple way of organizing large jobs. And just like always, you would just add tasks, and you can add tasks into any folder. You can add parts like you normally do, and you can track time. So none of that changes. All it does is just kind of organize it a little easier for you. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to show you the work order view. So when you go to the work order view, we have the same folders in here, but we also do show you the entire job. So basically with everything, you do want to see the total for the job. And so if you view the entire job and scroll all the way to the bottom, it will show you the totals for the project. So labor, parts, and the pre-tax total, total taxes, any and all payments customers made, and the current remaining balance. And so that's how this will work. And you can look at just a particular folder. So if you're doing somewhat of a progress billing thing based on like the folder you're doing, you can come in here and you can look at just a single folder's total. And it will show you like the labor and the parts for an individual folder. And you can do that for each folder. We can also look at the entire job and filter it by just parts or just labor. So there are different ways of filtering this job to view different portions of essentially the bill for the customer. But what we're going to look at specifically is we want to see the progress billing portion of this. So, for example, if you wanted to go back, and so most of this work has been done last year, so we'll just start like February 1st to like maybe skip to June 1st and run a filter. So this will show us what we did in that time period. So we've balanced the engine, we built the short block, we added all these parts to the job, and our total for that section of it, and we've received payments in that section as well. So the total for this section is about 15 grand. So now that we've ran this date range filter, it shows us the labor we've done, so any hourly stuff, or rather any hours that we've tracked within that date period, any complete tasks or tasks that are like a fixed price or book hours that were marked as completed in that time frame, or any parts that were added within that time frame will be added to this invoice. And so we've got an invoice now. So basically what you'd want to do is you'd want to come to the invoice viewer here, which is the invoice history, and we would just save this. And it will save off just a section of this job, which is what you would call your progress. So basically the last 2 weeks, you create an invoice, you bill the customer, and save the invoice. And this particular job, I've just been doing the full job for them, but let me show you an example of one that I have done actual date range filtered invoicing. So here's an example of one. So I've created an invoice for January 1st to January 31st, and the total for that was $4,288. Then we got February 1st to February 29th, $3,903, and then we did March. And so you can see this is a great example of what we call progress billing. So you just make an invoice for just a section of the job, and you can save it, you can view it, you can email it to the customer, you can take payments on it, you can export it to QuickBooks as an actual invoice. So we can treat these as like unique invoices. And in fact, I actually do. So I give them unique names. So the job ID is 10451, and then each time I make a monthly export, I just add either a number or a letter at the end of it, so that way I know which one is which. So in a large project that expands over, say, years or several months, every time you bill them, you just add a number at the end of it, and then you can export them to QuickBooks. And QuickBooks might have 10 or 12 or 20 invoices for one customer, but in MSA, it's just a single job with maybe 10 or 12, invoice history segments of this job. And that allows you to track your billing as individual months. So obviously the billing is going to track slightly different because you're going to make a bill for a time period and the customer is going to pay it once you've made the bill. So just be aware of that. So if the bill date on it is the following month, just know that it was paid for the previous month. So that's one thing to just be aware of. So we do still try to track the payment date, but if you want to move the payment date, you can, and then it will show up on the correct invoice. So that's really the gist of it. It's pretty simple to do. Basically, you're just kind of looking for, if you're doing date range filtering, just run your start and end date and hit filter, and that will give you the current work that you've done. And then you can go into the invoices and you can save it or export it with the date range that you filtered, and that's really it. So it's pretty straightforward, easy to do. If you have any questions, just contact me, Kevin@myshopAssist.com, or obviously our phone number is listed on the website, or if you are currently using MSA, you can go in and message us through the messaging system. All right, thank you very much.